I'd also say we could plug in different fasting techniques to the inflammation as well. And again, fasting can be really helpful just to increase cellular autophagy, help clean up proteins in the body, right? Cellular autophagy is just cleaning different things up in the body with our immune system, which starts to gobble up proteins, gobble up inflammation. Obviously, if you're inflamed because of foods, not eating can actually help reduce inflammation. How about that? But it's not magic, because you got to have a routine when you're getting good anti-inflammatory, nutrient-dense foods in there. And then, of course, there's more long-term strategies like intermittent fasting, where you're just restricting your feeding window. And the goal of that really comes down to some of these cellular autophagy mechanisms of cleaning up proteins. Also, mTOR, decreasing mTOR can help with anti-aging. That's a mammalian target of rapamycin. Kind of plugs into that whole intermittent fasting insulin thing. And then on top of that, I would say intermittent fasting. Yeah, well, just to kind of highlight, intermittent fasting is just restricting the feeding window. So the goal is that you're still getting the nutrients you need, but you're just maybe compressing that window between 12 and 6 or 12 and 8, right? Versus eating all day. Ideally, eating enough food so you can last 5 hours to the next meal. That's great too. So we don't want to be grazing. Even if it's healthy food, we don't want to be grazing all day, because you're just stimulating insulin every time you eat. So eat a little bit in the morning, go 4 or 5 hours, don't eat again. Get enough protein and fat in each meal, go 4 or 5 hours. So even during the day, just get the snack mindset out. Eat enough so you're good.
Man, I tell you, I haven't talked too much about this because I almost forget to celebrate it. But I mean, there was a time where I was eating like every 2 to 3 hours, especially when I was doing bodybuilding, 10 years ago. I was eating 2 to 3 meals, stuffing myself full of food as much as I can just to bulk up. And then that kind of, I don't want to say wrecked my metabolism. I was never obese. I was always lean. But I would say it wrecked my metabolism in that I was constantly grazing, as you mentioned, this snack mindset. And now it's so it just feels so good to be able to eat. Like if I'll do a grass-fed steak for breakfast, just to have that and not need anything for 5 hours. Now, if it's a heavy day with clients and there's a lot of stress involved, maybe 4 hours instead of 5 or 6 on the eating. But man, I tell you, just imagine how much more productive the world would be if people got off that blood sugar, snacking, grazing roller coaster. I mean, it just occupies so much of your time. Like, I'm hungry, I'm going to go for this. And instead of a candy bar, now people go for like a protein bar, hopefully, or maybe pistachios or something. But wow, just think of how much time is spent on that. Oh, I'm hungry, I got to feed the beast again every 2 hours.